many people believe that our nursing homes have to do a better job. But let's think about why they've been charged with the responsibility they have. In Illinois, following deinstitutionalization, people literally were given bus passes. And my understanding is a lot of them got on an Irving Park bus and came over, and that's how they ended up in this neighborhood. And so once there were a lot of homeless people with mental illness in the streets, somebody had to answer the call because our state and our government had said no longer are we going to house these folks in our institutions. Well, for-profit industries grew up to answer a need. And so I am not willing to sort of throw under the bus the notion that none of these institutions should be run for profit. Profit is what got all of these individuals into the homes they have today. Getting regular care, making sure that their medications are taken on a daily basis. So if you eliminate that, you are going to have people who can't find housing, and that's the real risk. And I am very, very concerned that it's not to say the Tribune articles aren't important about how we can improve our homes and facilities. That's important. But I'm very concerned that some of the outrage that's happening right now is there designed to ultimately move people out of my backyard and get them out of our neighborhoods. That's underlying some of the frustration with folks and the policies. Unless you tell me that you have 6 to 8 person properties ready to welcome these individuals, then any solution you offer, which eliminates those large facilities, inevitably displaces people. So we need to make some very tough choices. But again, I go back to the money in our state. We are going to have to put in more funding, not less, if we want to break apart all of these large for-profit institutions. And if you want to do that, and you want to sacrifice and do the things like responsible income tax increase in order to fund them, then that is a path we can take. But it is not going to be an answer for our state to say we can move everybody to a different kind of home, we can avoid sales taxes, and somehow everything will right itself. That's just not the way it's going to work. And so we have to think very seriously about this issue. And I know that people in my neighborhood, in Uptown, places like Edgewater, are bearing a disproportionate part of the burden of some of the secondary costs. I understand that. Because there are always going to be people. Remember, these are folks living in these facilities who, by law, the facility is not permitted to just keep them in their room. They can't do that by law. They have to allow people to engage with the larger community. So if we're going to have that, then we need to devote more funding and more resources. But these for-profit companies are answering a need. So if we don't want them in existence anymore, if we want competition for them, that's fine. But we as a state got to pay for it. And we have to either have publicly run facilities, which will compete with them, or we have to put enough of an incentive out there that new for-profit industries develop to compete and care for those folks. Either one, again, requires resources. So this is another answer, this is another situation where we're going to have to make tough choices as a state. But I think it is absolutely wrong for our state senator, who has basically taken multiple shots across the bow, to say to you, oh, I've got the solution. We're going to move everybody to 6 to 8 person homes. There is no funding for that in the legislature, and even if there was, there is no willingness on the part of the neighborhoods to house that many properties in that many locations. So you need to look past the grandstanding that our senator has done on the issue of nursing homes and look to what is really going to get people the care they need. And I think that requires more investment of resources, not less.
It sounds like Jim and I agree. In 2 minutes or more than 2 minutes, yeah. You have to hold. These for-profit companies are filling a need, right? For-profit, there's incentive, but you have to deliver service and keep residents safe. As you well know, you work in the industry. You know the issue intimately, right? I live in the neighborhood and have an idea of what we can do. We hold these operations accountable. We get a good result. If we let them run rampant, and profits are important, but you have to deliver the service, right? And we're not delivering the service, and we can't.
All right, well, we're going to do one last question. And again,